Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
but I need to see it first.
Who you
For
finish that
Jody.
application?
We have to figure that out, but I can't.
What about Ellie? Does she have exams? I've heard whispers.
She's got a few. She heard back from Towson's.
Oh, look, I can actually get on.
I did.
They just have that.
So there, okay, I'll watch this.
That's good.
But
Do I
just-
have to leave this or something?
Just that they just
Right over
got
the
appreciate
secret
it.
house.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
She's like, oh, it seems okay.
Just like a backup.
She doesn't really know.
okay, so I'll watch this.
Alfred.
And Alfred, she's
That's a good one.
Do you see us moving?
Oh.
Can you turn yours up?
the Skidmore's cool. I like Skidmore.
See if you can hear anything. Yeah? You got us now?
Put the.
I can hear it.
Okay.
Yep, okay, we're good now.
All right, I figured it out. I'll tell you after.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I could hear it too.
Michelle.
Yeah. All right, I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. It's December 11th. If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That's a loud fan. Do we have any items for consideration for the agenda?
We do not.
Yeah. Great. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
Move.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the regular meetings of November 13th?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we are to our presentation, so would Mr. Latella please come up?
You don't have the touch.
No.
All right, well, good evening, everybody. Oh, how I missed Board of Education meetings. So glad to be back. I would just like to, start by thanking the administration and Board of Education for offering these opportunities for summer curriculum work. The time is invaluable to really be able to sit down and break down some of our curriculum. So, as you probably know, we purchased new units of study in writing last year for the 24-25 school year, and then we're piloting a new unit of study in reading for this school year. So one thing that I wanted to do with my curriculum as I unpacked the new reading pilot unit of studies, which in the summer there was only book 1 and 2 available digitally, and then they released book 3 and still are looking to release book 4 and 5. But I wanted to create a curriculum calendar that would align both my ELA and social studies for the entire school year. In 5th grade we departmentalize, so I teach all the ELA, the reading and writing, and social studies, and Mrs. Merrill teaches the math and the science. And so aligning all of the curriculum for the entire school year, on paper, you can see that I've aligned each book for reading and writing and social studies, but it goes a lot deeper than just the titles of the books. And that's what the summer curriculum project allowed me to do, was to really dive into the reading, plan out the entire calendar year of September through December, so both book 1 and book 2. So the students were able to complete both book 1 and book 2. As you can see, we sort of start a little bit differently with our social studies. We start our year with economic systems, because in 5th grade we have an economic system for the students where they all have jobs and they're paid salaries for those jobs, but in turn they have to pay rent for their desks. And then throughout the class day they can earn bonus money or also be fined for not making good choices. And so then at the end of the month they have to, after they get their salary, they have to pay rent, but they can also save that money up and buy their desk, and so then they won't have to pay rent. And it's a little bit of an idea to have them delay gratification. So we have an auction at the end where they can buy little things with their money, and students love to spend their money, but after after the first student saves their money and they buy their desk and then they don't have to pay rent at the end of the month, and then they buy somebody else's desk and become a landlord, that's sort of a really interesting situation for our students. But I was able to break down the reading units of study, which is just, an amazing curriculum in the way that it's differentiated for our students, used through our workshop model of instruction. So, it's a really small whole group instruction at the beginning, and then our students really spend the majority of their time in purposeful work, both reading and writing. We talk a lot about if you want to get better as a basketball player, you have to play basketball. If you want to get better playing the violin, you have to play the violin. And if you want to get better at reading and writing, you actually have to spend time reading and writing. So our curriculum allows our students to do that. But more importantly, added on to the units of study and reading, our writing units of study have a digital writing component where students can do their writing within the program on the web. And that's, neat in of itself because Google Docs really does some of the same stuff. But what I spent a lot of my time doing was breaking down the digital writing component, both the implementation guide and the navigation guide, because the digital writing does give us a little bit of a screenshot into artificial intelligence. And so students can submit their writing, and within minutes, they have probably 3 paragraphs worth of feedback from the computer, basically. So that really helps with, the systems where I've got 6 or 7 students waiting to talk to me about their writing and have me read over their writing, but instantaneously all 20 of the students submit their writing and get feedback. I do like to read all the feedback before I submit it to the students, but I did provide a couple of examples here that show you what this AI component does for a student. So this was a student that wrote a personal narrative about horse riding and their experience with horse riding, and you can see when the AI feedback comes back, it does say it's from me. It gives me an opportunity to talk to the students about, passing off AI as your own when it's really not. And so I tell them that because I own the program and run the class, it says it's coming from me, but it's really coming from artificial intelligence. And so we never want to pass it off as our own. So when they see my name on it, know that it's being reviewed by me, but it's not put together by me. But you can see how quickly this happened. It happened within 1 or 2 minutes, and it talks specifically about the way it names the writer's name, and then it says, I love the way you described Nymphet's silver spots and the dust flying up as she galloped. Made me feel like I was right there with you. Talks about the dialogue. Great job using action and description. Then goes into the middle paragraph where it really asks them to make some changes and make some revisions. Think about the heart of your story when you first mounted the horse. These are the moments that make your story special. And then it tells the students, I can't wait to review your writing. So here's another one. Again, it tells the students, I was super excited because the first time I jumped, everything went very well. Helps us feel the excitement. It gives the students, some very specific feedback, and then, again, offers them some opportunities to improve their work by revising it. I linked in the read aloud feature for any of our students that want to listen to it. We're having trouble reading some of the words that are given off by AI. They can have it read aloud to them. But a really exciting part, some of our other grade levels are starting to jump into it also, and we're sharing information with each other just based on how quickly we can give our students feedback with their writing. Not something that we always want to go to, but it's something that allows, again, our instruction to be differentiated because we know we have students at different parts in their writing process, and we can have students kind of finish their writing, get some feedback, revise it while we're still working with other students. So that was really the time that I spent this summer creating my curriculum calendar, unpacking the new pilot units of study, aligning into the rest of my curriculum, and then really jumping into the digital writing portion and the AI feedback. Right? Thanks.
Have you had any of the feedback that comes back that you were questioning
I
yourself?
did actually. I was shocked at that because I have 42 students total in both classes, so I spent time reading all of them, and it's very consistently organized. It tells them exactly what they like about it. It's very interesting. It knows the type of writing too. Like we've done personal narratives, and we've also done some literary essays, and it'll say, in there, I love your narrative techniques, or I love how you wrote this literary essay. And then in the middle, it gives them the pieces to work on. And there's a little bit of like, I'm not sure what it's asking me to do by some of the students, and so it gives me an opportunity to then talk to some of the dialogue, some of the vocabulary that's being used in there too. So, yeah, I was concerned about that when it said it would send it to the teacher first to read over, because I can edit it. I can take stuff out, I can add stuff in, but it all looked pretty good to me.
What's the name of the program you're using there? For AI?
So it's through Heinemann, but it's called Flight is the program that we use. So
If a student prepared their writing in AI, would that catch that?
that's a good question. I don't think, I'm going to say that I don't think I have any fifth graders that are trying to use AI to do the writing, but I don't think it's a program that is detecting
Just wondering if it would give
if
feedback.
it's used there, yeah. I don't know if I want to X out of that or.
Just X out of your top tab. Yep. Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, the color binder.
We always love the primary grades books and stuff, it's always the fun.
We like colors. Well, like, our slideshows are fun.
Oh.
Maybe.
It's blurry.
She's loading.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not quite, is that a salon? It's like a salon.
It must be his session. No, it looks like a
Right?
Right?
I say my
They're
Gremlins.
They're trying to determine what it is.
Right.
What is Bill's day?
All right, so we're telling you about our kindergarten assessment binder. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to do this project this summer. It's gonna load in a second.
At this point, this is where my kids give it internet figures.
So why we created it? We created this binder to bring more organization and consistency to our assessment process. Before this, our materials were scattered all over the place in different binders, different digital platforms. And the binder gives us one unified system that it's easy to access all our assessments and easy to maintain. It supports smoother planning, intervention, and communication. And overall, it helps us stay organized while making our assessments more efficient.
I would say, as coming into kindergarten, creating the binder has been helpful in that it's overwhelming when you change grades. So we're in module 2 of math and things like that, so I'm able to easily access those assessments quickly, where normally I'd be panicking and trying to find it from everywhere or bothering Connington, so it really is one spot shop. So the purpose of our binder our main purpose behind creating this was to build a consistent tracking system for our students throughout the year. We wanted assessments that directly aligned with our curriculum so that the data we collect is meaningful and helps guide our instruction. The binder also supports early identification of students' needs and makes it easier for us to communicate progress clearly with our families and our team. So that's kind of the purpose behind it.
Recently, we just had a data team meeting where we were easily able to bring all our data to share with everybody on the team. So what assessments do we administer? You can see the list of assessments here. It's in the front of our binders also. So our letter ID, our concepts about print, our high frequency words, which are the sight words, the PASS and the phonemic awareness assessment, the phonics decoding assessment, the reading of decodable text assessment, and the Fox-Snell assessments are not in there, but because those are all digital, and there's too many. The math modules for that unit. So we have all these different models, and they all come from our foundations. The assessments come from there, our units of study, and our Eureka Math. So these are the assessments that go along with our curriculum.
And then what we were able to do is throughout the last about year, we realized as a team in the primary, we have our folders, are moving up folders, but are moving up folders, and you have to go to So what we were able to create was we created a data collection digital sheet for all of these assessments that we do. And so some of our assessments we start and a kid will not complete it technically until second grade. So instead of having a teacher have to pull out every single folder, we just pass along the data collection digital sheet for them to do. What we were then able to do is up at the top, it tells the team what is proficient. So like for CBC, 8 out of 10, and we have the assessments in there, but 8 out of 10 is proficient. So then we also color coordinate it so that if a child got 8 or higher, it will turn green. So from a glance, you can see who's proficient. And then anyone who got below is red. So then as a team, we can look quickly to see where are the troubles, but also who is super far behind, because then we're making sure they're getting interventions. So again, just an easier way for us to bring that data to those meetings. And all it is a Google Sheet. And then when we created the master Google Sheet, this was shared with the whole team so that like here is foundations for first grade. And then I've deleted off mine because I don't need first grade, but first grade has that and it's color coordinated. Second grade has theirs and it's color coordinated. Like these are just kindergarten ones, but concepts of print, we were able to share it with the reading teachers because they give this assessment at the beginning and then we take over.
We give it at the beginning.
Oh, concepts of print, sorry, pass is them, they do the
We
pass.
give this one throughout the year.
We give this one, the pass, they start and then we take over anyone who's not in reading. So reading teachers were able to put all their data in here, then it allows us to take over, but again, not pulling out 100 folders every time we're trying to give students assessments. This is the one that follows students. The phonics decoding is the one that we start in kindergarten and it goes all the way to second grade. So this is all one-shot glance at an entire grade of where they're at. And it allows just teachers, again, to plan in September to know where their students are very quickly, to be able to start instruction right away versus waiting for those assessments or waiting to pull out all of the folders. So this was kind of the big part of taking that and then putting it in here.
We do the first 5 columns that are up there, and if we have any kids that are above level, we can go further into the first grade. And then we pass it on to first grade to continue. And first grade sometimes has to continue these 2 columns. Usually these are taken care of, but sometimes the CBC words and different vowels are not finished in kindergarten because the student is proficient and maybe receiving extra services or whatever it may be, but they'll move on. Any questions?
That's great.
It's really helpful.
How was the reaction from the other grades as you shared this with them? The other grade teachers?
This part we love. They, using it in first, because last year we started kind of dabbling in it, and then we really, all as a team, jumped in this year. I think this part is the one that we really enjoy. The other tabs, at first when they got it, they were like, oh, and I was like, you have to delete all the ones that don't apply to you, because a child should leave kindergarten, concepts of print should be done. They, for the most part, they're over with that by the end of kindergarten. Same with the pass and things like that. So once they realized they could take away tabs that don't apply to them, but then keep the tabs that do, it just was easier for them. So I think as a team in K1-2, it just has helped that piece a lot, because it looks like a lot right from the beginning, but they realize, oh, I can cherry pick out what I need. But this one has been the best, just to be able to, again, in September, you're pulling out 19 folders, and then you're trying to find, and it's, for this one, once you get to second grade, you're here, so you have to go through all of, these are all individual pages in a packet. So you're trying to find, so once we realized, oh, we can make this streamlined a little bit easier. And then Heather brought up a really good point, because at that point we were doing different grades, but then we decided to do different classes in a grade, so we'd have 2. And then as a teacher, once you got to first, you'd have to find your kids. So we decided as a team, through this binder, the conversation was, instead of having separate tabs, it would be kindergarten has a tab, so then when they move to first, it just goes to first with all the names alphabetical, so that you can, as a grade, see at a glance where your holes might be or where your high flyers are, of like, okay, I have to push these kids because they're up here, but I need to help these kids in a different way. So I think as a team, this has been a better way to organize it. What Heather actually had us do was one of our staff development days. She bought binders and we brought ours, and other grades were able to create assessment binders as well based off what work we had done in the summer. So it was a working PD, which was kind of nice to just be able to piggyback off of each other of what we needed in our binders. So I know like first grade made one and second grade made one as well. It just is easy at a glance to have everything right there.
Thank
you
you.
very much. This is great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good work, Scoop Snap.
As always, you are welcome to stay.
Brian's in his coat.
But as always, we will hold you to it. I just lost my whole. If I need anything off the agenda, I'm coming for you. Yep, go for it. Mine just closed itself. Okay. That brings us to capital projects.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I think originally, with the meeting originally scheduled for last Thursday, I think the intent for this update that I'm about to give was really to give an update in anticipation of tonight's vote. So I'll kind of summarize probably what I would have said on Thursday. Obviously, the vote going on right now and being completed at 8 o'clock, we'll know more, a lot more in about 2 hours. So.
You're not gonna filibuster till the vote's done.
So, it's been a busy 6 weeks or so. We had, I think, we had about a dozen meetings scheduled. I think we ended up having 10. We lost a couple because of weather that we didn't reschedule. We had a couple meetings out in public. We presented to the Rotary Club. We presented to the steering committees here in the building. And then we had a series of open forums here at the school. So they were not heavily attended, but I would say they were very productive. I think Bill would agree.
Absolutely.
What was really nice about some of those meetings is we had some attendees at those meetings, though it wasn't heavily attended. We did have some attendees that we aren't necessarily familiar with here at the school. So they're community members that are rooted in this community, that have lived here for a long time, that don't have kids in school or grandkids in school, or really have a direct connection to HCS, but they're longtime members of the community. So we got positive feedback. I think the presentation, the flyer was very informative. We did receive feedback. People, I think, left with a better understanding of what we're trying to do and why, and the necessity behind that. So again, I think the board. You know what a lengthy process it's been. We put a lot into it. I think Bill, I think our team, our faculty, our staff. At this point, there's nothing we can do but wait. So we'll know more, obviously, tonight at the end of the night. So again, just thank you to the community. Thanks for those that came out. Even those that didn't come, we got feedback that I would have come, but the flyer was very informative, and I talked to somebody else that came. I had my questions answered, that kind of thing. So I do think that it's always hard to tell just how far we're able to reach, but we sent out 2,800
Yep.
flyers to all of our residents. So we do know that as of right now that our voting turnout is quite a bit higher than it was in 2018 for our last capital project. So I think that's telling as well. So it's typically lower than our annual election, but so other than that, I don't know if you had any questions for me.
Not now. Maybe last week I would have, but
Too
Good
late
now.
now, right?
thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Matt.
for all your work, Matt.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll move along to the consent agenda, if I can speak. I need a motion to approve the following consent agenda. God, I'm gonna need to use one, I assume. 4.1 through 5.1, as recommended by the superintendent.
I'll move. A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
That opens the floor for community participation. If anybody would like to speak, please join us at the podium. And remember our policy. I don't think there's any comments online at this moment, but if you have something online, please feel free to write in, and we will get to you at the next time. Since nobody's moving here, we will move on. I need a motion to approve the addition of Kelsey Morris, Rachel Menning, Bryn Bukowski, and Madison DeAngelis to the substitute list for the role of substitute list for both non-instructional and instructional roles as recommended by the administrative team and the superintendent.
I'll move.
Second?
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the following coaches for 25-26 school year as presented, contingent upon significant participation in those sports and as recommended by the athletic coordinator, athletic director, and superintendent.
Move.
Second?
Discussion will be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to revise the appointment of Shannon Newkirk from probationary office assistant 2 to permanent civil service appointment effective December 31st as recommended by the director of PPS and superintendent.
Move.
Second?
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to revise the appointment of Chelsea Lehman from probationary office assistant 2 to permanent civil service appointment effective December 31st as recommended by the elementary principal and superintendent.
I'll move.
Second?
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve a child rearing leave of absence for McKenna LaSalle with tentative dates of February 23rd through June 26th as recommended by the elementary principal and superintendent.
I'll move.
Second?
Congratulations. Other discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the recommendation of Committee on Special Education and Preschool Special Education.
Move.
Second.
Discussion would be an executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to accept the following monetary donation with sincere appreciation and to increase the budget by these amounts as recommended by the business manager and superintendent.
Move.
Second.
Thank you for the support of this program. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to approve the art and history trip to New York City and the SUNY Brockport dual credit course national disasters trip to Wreckett Lake for 25-26 school year as provided and recommended by the secondary principal and superintendent. The Board of Education does reserve the right to cancel the trip if circumstances arise that affect student safety.
Move.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Sounds so fun.
I hope all the kids have a great time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Policies, all you guys.
Wowza.
We're just
It's
getting rid of
2
them.
pages.
It's easy.
Yeah. So this is just,
Keeps going.
these are all policies that the BOCES, or sorry, the NISBA services looked through and they are not relevant or necessary. And so there's no need to keep these. Probably, a lot of them are either reiterating the law or unnecessary law or
Yep.
at times maybe somewhat contradictory, so.
Or covered in other policies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you see fire safety, for example, that's gonna be covered by the emergency plan. I don't, there's no policy here that is really representing a change in our procedures.
Great. Question, once this all finalizes, all these changes, are we renumbering policies?
Yep.
Okay,
That'll be part of the process as
Part of
well.
the process, yeah.
good, because it'll be very confusing if we have all these holes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, there won't be.
Okay,
This is great,
Great.
guys. Thank you.
thank you for all the work and for
Yeah.
NISBA's guidance on that. That brings us to information and correspondence. Superintendent's report.
Yeah, a couple of things I want to update you on. In addition to my written report, our ESSA accountability data has been released. It's embargoed, which means it can't be public information until the appeals process happens with the state. So any district that gets their data and they see there's an error, they can appeal their determination. So we received our data. It's based on the 24-25 data results for accountability measures through ESSA. I can say publicly at this time that all of our indicators are in good standing for all of our subgroups, which is tremendous. So there's levels. New York State assigns support levels of local support and improvement is the highest level you can receive. Targeted support and improvement, additional targeted support and improvement, or comprehensive support and improvement. So right now, preliminary, without final review of data, it looks like we are at the highest level for all of our subgroups, which is great. Hard to believe, but we received the draft tentative calendar for 26-27 from BOCES. We're already working on the calendar for next year. There's 6 emergency days built in, which I think is really beneficial based on the weather that we've been receiving this year. So we'll finalize that once BOCES and their BOCES board determines that they're going to accept the calendar. It's shared with you. I will share that next month for your adoption and review. So stay tuned. Speaking of weather and snow day determination, so I will be out of the office January 5th through the 9th. So Mark will be making snow day determinations. He lives in the district. So he'll be working with our Director of Transportation and local highway superintendents to make those determinations the week that I'm absent. So, and then finally, I just want to wish our entire learning community a happy and healthy holiday season. I hope everybody finds some time to relax and enjoy time with family and loved ones. So, thank you.
Questions? I know you mentioned this in your report, but just, so I know that work is continuing on the secondary schedule.
It
How
is.
is that going?
We have had 2 meetings in the last week with HDA representation, counseling, Mark, to look at different models. I have a meeting tomorrow morning with the superintendents of all the Route 20 districts to look at different models. It's progressing. There's a lot that goes into a secondary schedule. And logistically with contracts and bus times and pickup times, there's a lot of work that goes into it. But so we're moving along, but it's a lot of work.
And we think we're making.
We're progressing, yeah,
progress
yeah,
to-
yeah. You know, the one thing that we have decided upon is that we have to have 9 cells, 9 periods, to meet all of our AP classes, to meet all of our intervention services. We originally looked at an 8-cell schedule. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work for us. So we have decided that a 9-period, 9-cell, whatever you want to call it, is the best model for the district. So we'll continue to work through that, but it's a lot of work. There's a lot that goes into
And
it.
thank you for everyone that's working on that.
Sure.
How about APPR? We still are not, there's nowhere to make progress in it?
There's nowhere to go, unfortunately. So we're on kind of standby.
And that's just NICEAD guidance that we need?
Yeah, yep.
Thanks.
Administrative extracurricular reports. All right.
First concert was last night. It was terrific. Middle school concert was well attended. Performances were beautiful.
Good. Business manager report, anything extra? No? All right. Student board member report. Your turn, finally.
I want to give an update on how students are feeling at school right now. So overall, students they've mentioned that school's been flying by, so that's a sign that students are engaged with their classes, so that's good. And the atmosphere has been pretty positive, especially because of these sources of strength. They've been doing a lot of interactive activities with students, so we're really enjoying that a lot. So that's really nice to see. And I also wanted to give an update on Multicultural Day. So I spoke with Mr. Rogers during our Inclusivity Committee meeting, and he said that they're planning on holding it on May Gym, so that's really exciting. I talked to a few students about it and they seem really excited about it, so that's great. I also want to bring up what Mr. Dowson was talking about, the straight 9 schedule. So we talked about it during our SSAC meeting, and most students said that they wouldn't enjoy that type of schedule because they're concerned about not having breaks between their classes and not having time to take certain tests or do certain activities. But one student made a really good point that I think is worth highlighting. He said, if we haven't tried it yet, how can we know that the new schedule won't work out? Of course, there would be a period of adjustment, but it could benefit the students academically. So that being said, most students are happy with the schedule that we currently have right now, but I think that's something to keep in mind for the future, because it looks like it's going to happen next year. So, yeah. And, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
The steering committees, Amanda's not here for either of her updates, so we'll get an update next month on those. Inclusivity committee, we didn't make, no. Or did you
yeah,
make the
we've-
rescheduled one?
I think the last one got rescheduled, so.
Yeah, that's
we have-
right.
Yeah,
We've not had one
we have had that one since the last board meeting.
due to scheduling issues, so sorry about that. Policy committee update, anything else other than the massive list of,
Slash and burn.
all right, love it.
Like it.
So yes, all the groups are working hard when we can get together, and I know Inclusivity is looking at some stuff offline as well, so they are moving along even though they
Yeah,
didn't meet.
exit interviews from the last school year, and everybody's had really good feedback
Yeah.
on that, and potential to do another. So, yeah, so looking forward to the next meeting.
Advocacy,
I have a whole lot of stuff, so I'll just take up everyone's time. No, it'll go quick. So we had our School Board Institute meeting. The showcase at Herkimer BOCES, they're trying to figure this all out because it rotates every 3 years between BOCES, and it's great for the students and the teachers that go, but they're not super well attended. So they're gonna try this out this year and then maybe try to reevaluate it. But it's at Herkimer BOCES this year, March 26th. The SAA and DSA awards, they are hoping to have information to schools mid-January. Deadline's gonna be March 16th, the review period March 17th to the 29th, and then the selection will take place March 30th. So if we could get our staff on board, highlight some of our amazing students and the things that we're doing here, trying to get some nominations for that. They mentioned that it was kind of disheartening because the numbers have been really low for nominations, and we have so many great students doing so many great things, and really just trying to get staff on board with submitting to those. And then that award ceremony is going to be at Twin Palms again this year, May 14th. They are getting ready to post the SBI coordinator position. They will be doing interviews mid-January, and then hopefully to have somebody, they're really hoping to get through this once they post it. So that would be really good. They've actually put 5 executive board members on the committee from different backgrounds and things too to help with that. The Herkimer BOCES DS will have the final decision, but they're really wanting everybody else's input because they're just kind of like housed there, but really work for all of us. They are changing the calendar format, thank goodness. Instead of having all these different calendars, she is putting it all in one, so you don't have to be like, oh, legislative committee, let me pull out this one, and this training. We were all like, instead of having 5 calendars, let's have one. So they sent a template for that, and that will go into effect for next year. Yes. Regent Mannion will be at OHM BOCES January 5th. We'd like to get as many people there as possible. There is going to be a Zoom option, but Regent Mannion really wanted to be in person and really has said many times he would really like people in person and not on Zoom if possible. They'll be asking questions mainly about the legislative priorities that were sent out, New York Inspires, and then Scott Blutelman works very closely with him, so we're gonna consult with Scott to see like his preferred format and how he really thinks that should be ran. But if we have anything specific for that, or anything we want to ask, let me know and I can pass that on. to get part of that. The membership committee sent out thank you postcards to families, so they wanted us to check with our boards and make sure everyone got those. They were like a big postcard, and it said like, thank you for supporting your family member who's a board member. So if you guys could check on that, you should have gotten them last month, so let me know. They want to make sure everybody got those.
They send them to the district or?
They send them to
Individual board members?
individual houses. Yep, and it says like to the family of da-da-da. So, I got mine, I can show you guys what it looks like. Maybe, it was like big, it's like this
Last
big.
month, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Well, they're checking on that.
Okay.
The program committee, they replaced 2 members and then added another person, so they're looking for ideas for next year of like, what do boards want programming on? What do they want to hear about? Things like that. So again, if you think about that, if there's something that comes to mind, let me know. They're working on trying to put that calendar together here soon. So, Rural Schools Conference, I guess, was great. There was about 125 attendees, and they really encouraged as many board members. They just said how great that conference was, and it is like kind of smaller, so you get more individualized stuff and just something to think about for the future.
The timing didn't work for us for other
yeah,
meetings, but
yeah.
I planned on doing it.
That was my issue too, yeah. Legislative Committee Forum is gonna be on January 29th, 6 o'clock at OHM BOCES. Right now, Butenscheim is the only one confirmed, but a lot of the legislators do come. There was like Griffo, Angelino, all of our reps were there last year. I know Bill and I went, but they're really trying to get like as many people in that room. I'll be speaking on mental health, so if there's anything in particular that you want us to know specific, they want us to really speak based on our district. So if anybody wants me to put anything in that, we have not written it yet. So let me know. They are still looking for some volunteers for a handful of topics if anyone else is interested in speaking. Rural Schools is also doing how important that is all these different forums, if we can really talk about a lot of the same things in the legislative priorities, that helps the legislators instead of having us kind of all over the place. And then the NISBA Capital Conference is going to be February 6th. That's all online. It's like 8 to noon online. It's usually pretty informative, so I'm part of that. And then Lobbying Day is going to be in Albany, February 11th. I am kind of up in the air on going or not. It's weather dependent, but they're also really saying that we need to get them in our schools. So anything we can try to do to get our legislators here, with administration, with a student, with a faculty member, a staff member, and a board member. And really, they said, come up with like just a couple of really intimate topics to us. So I would love to see that happen if we could do that. And then Amanda and I went to, on December 8th, we went to the State Aid and Finance Considerations by Rick Timms. Oh my gosh, he's an incredible resource. Like, I learned way more about the formula than I probably ever wanted to learn, but it was so good. He gave us this handout that I'll share with everybody. It has every school district on it, and he was like, he went literally through each column of the formula and how it's figured out. But what was really, really, really great about this presentation is he gave us actual talking points, so when we do get legislators here, of things that are like the most important to get fixed that will make the biggest difference. So I thought that was like really, really great. And then there were other things like they've already done or things that like aren't gonna change, so don't focus on that. So I don't know that this was sent out to everybody. So I'll send this out, but like literally, like this was the last page. He even broke it down like the big issues and things to talk about. So it's very user-friendly after you get through the first pages that are like not so user-friendly. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it was really, really good. It went over like 45 minutes, but everyone was like, okay, it could just, like, everyone wanted to stay and keep learning, so it was actually really good. I think that was a lot.
It was a lot, but good stuff.
Oh, and I have been, I don't know how this happened, but I'm on the resolutions committee again. So I was nominated and selected for that, so that everybody knows that.
Any questions on advocacy for Jen? Brings us to community participation. If anybody would like to go to the podium, remember our policy. Seeing nobody move. No comments online. We will move on. We will have executive session this evening. There will not be a vote after executive session, so we will not come back online, live stream. Thank you for everybody that participates or watches our meetings. I need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss matters pertaining to the financial history of a particular corporation with the potential of discussion of matters that may lead to employment of particular persons, the employment history of particular persons, and discuss current litigation.
I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll take a 5-minute recess. Thank you. Are you guys here for class? Are you guys here for class? Make sure you do a selfie.